Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll call to order at 5:03 p.m. the police committee meeting for October, what is today, 26th or 25th? 25th, 2023. My name is Councilor Heather Waters, and I'd like to ask Bobby Chuck to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, great. So I gave everybody an end of the line. Oh, yeah, thank you. So thank you very much to Allison Weber, who let us know that the minutes are tabled for this month. We will make sure they're out to folks and we can approve both sets at the next meeting. Would love to move on to item number 4, an update on the amended and restated Manlius Police intermunicipal agreement. I have a quick statement and then I'll open it up to the other members. The 1984 TMPD formation agreement details terms which have been neglected by all municipal bodies for decades, which was raised as a concern by the Public Safety Advisory Committee of Residents convened in 2020. A new agreement will require all 4 parties to sign it. An important reminder for all residents, this conversation is separate from the department's operation. TMPD is mandated to serve all residents of the town and villages, regardless of how we go back and forth on this. In August 2023, the attorneys for the villages of Fayetteville and Manlius, the attorney of the town board and the town board members shared an updated version of the agreement with the village mayors that continues seamlessly the participation of the villages on the police committee and their continued consultation on all critical matters, including the hiring and dismissal of the chief of police. We asked for feedback from the mayors and village trustees on the draft, which brings us to today. As of October 24th, I believe, we received a draft of an agreement from the villages with significant changes from August that will need to be reviewed. So that's what I understand and putting forward. I'd like to open it up now for the members to make any comments or add anything. No. Oh, that's all right. Welcome.
Thank you.
No? Okay.
So you guys are just gonna, are you gonna discuss this at all tonight in the meeting, or are you just gonna review it individually?
We don't have a town board meeting tonight.
Oh,
I know, usually we would, right, based on the calendar, but it's different based on budget.
okay.
That had me off.
Yeah.
Too. because
Yeah.
I've been coming to the town board meetings and all of a sudden tonight, there isn't.
I know.
And so we
Looks like we have time.
put out, yes, we put out some information on that. We had to adjust the board meetings for holidays and
Yeah,
then just
okay, I
scheduled.
believe it.
No, I'm doing a public service announcement. This is actually true for October, November, and December. So it'll be the 1st and 3rd for all 3 of those months. And then in January, we'll have the organizational return.
I'm not being critical.
No, I just, any chance I can tell residents, I do, so.
Great.
And Tom's live with us.
Oh, Tom, hi. Did you just hear all that? How are you?
I am
Oh, I didn't-
well, thank you. I did hear it.
Okay, great. Do you have anything to add?
I will add that I was on the police committee back when we hired the previous chief, and I do agree with your statement in that there were many items in that IMA from '84 that weren't part of the police committee when I was on it 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So I agree it needs to be refreshed, although details need to be hashed out. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, with that, we can talk about department operation, and we're really grateful to have our chief of police, Jason Casalia, and Officer Dan Tyrell, and
Lieutenant Snyder.
Lieutenant Snyder hiding behind the podium. No, not hiding, I just couldn't see him.
He's
and-
hiding.
With that, could I please ask Chief Casalia to provide us with his report and a little bit about the budget?
Absolutely. I'll go right to budget. I know that this is what we've been working on, and I asked our union president and my assistant operations commander to join me today. So right now, we're heading into preliminary budget time, as we know, and thank you for all your hard work and working with me on my first budget year as your provisional chief of police. We understand that the world is changing and has changed, and the impacts of that financially for all of us. We're seeing that in all the things that we purchase, all the things that we depend on as we completed our budget this year, in the price changes that we were looking at, whether it was for vehicles that went up 27%, or all those other areas in conditions. We worked very hard to look at and identify and truly understand the community needs through our allocation and workload analysis that we completed this year. And we coupled that with a close examination of the town's comprehensive plan as a strategic overlay, if you will, of where we connect with our community, and the conversations that I've had also with the mayors and with the counselors and the village trustees. During that process, we assembled a budget and we've worked on that budget. Part of what we're asking for this year is 2 additional personnel, two additional sworn police officers in this budget. And that was based on our allocation and workload analysis. And with that, we're looking at an approximate 9% increase that we're asking for from the town. And I know that we're continuing to work and have those discussions going forward. But I wanted to just open it up and ask if anybody had any specific questions for me.
I have one. How many police cars do you purchase a year?
So that can vary. We are asking for 4 marked vehicles. And what we have right now, and then certain circumstances change too, right? So we use a Dodge Durango. Dodge is now talking about no longer making them in 2024. So we are looking at if they open up the opportunity to buy them in 2023 or make the commitment, they're going to be substantially less and we'll be able to get them. If we don't, we'll have to look at alternatives. The alternatives are larger and more expensive by about $9,000 a piece to $9,000 to $12,000 depending. So the vehicle thing is always something in which that can change based on what happens, and from all the different vehicles that we've had, in the upfitting and all the pieces that go into them. So right now, we're fingers crossed that we have we've been able to have a commitment so that we can purchase 4 marked cars that will be delivered in 2024, but will be part of the 2023 build out of Dodge before they make the change.
Have you looked into the municipal financing is what they call it? It's basically a lease for municipalities. Because we just did that with our Chiefs cars and saved a lot of money.
So we did, and that's really, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was actually a large part of our initial conversation. And Enterprise was a part and parcel of that discussion. And what we found was, based on the environment and the manner in which we use our cars and the amount of hours that go on the operation of the cars and the manner of changes that we make to our vehicles, it actually was not to our benefit. But we explored that significantly. It would have to be not only our fleet, but to get to the numbers in which that it would start making sense would require not only everything in the town, but even additional.
Yeah.
Because there was a certain bottom line number, I think, at that level that we had to get to, and we just wouldn't have it.
Mhm.
And that would be every vehicle turning over every so often.
Yeah. Yeah, we just did that in the fire department. and we've
Did
saved a
you
lot.
did you do just all the, not trucks, just
Just the pickups,
Yeah.
the smaller vehicles, and then we're exploring what we're gonna do with our,
who did you go through? Was it Enterprise?
no, he actually specializes, I'll send you.
Send
the
it to me
information.
later.
He
I would,
specializes in emergency vehicles.
I would like to take a look at that.
He's right in North Syracuse too, so.
Okay, if you would, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I'll give you all his information for it.
Thank you. Sir,
Yeah, you said 2 additional, and what would be the intent to have them added to the force? So parole or patrols or?
yes, they would, so what we would, what
I
Our
don't want to
allocation
run your
study.
department for you, I just wondered what the idea.
you can ask any and every question, I welcome it, and I appreciate it. The allocation study identified our need in some certain areas. One of those areas in which that we have is investigations. Investigations is something in which that we have to, in order for us to have greater closure rates, the ability to solve problems for people when they call and say, I've been a victim. Things are becoming much more involved, much more complex. The kinds of cases that we're getting involved in are much more complex. They require certain types of skills, but they also require a significant amount of resource hours in order to solve and do these things. And they're becoming routine. So the old question for us was, if it's something in which that's outside our wheelhouse, use our partners. But the problem is all of our partners are dealing with the same thing and we're dealing with the same thing. The complexity and the amount of time in order to provide that level of investigation, we know we can do. But the amount of time, and considering with all of our personnel, is challenging. But I also have Lieutenant Snyder, who was instrumental in building this analysis. And I would ask you, do you have any further comment that you would like to make based on the question?
I think one of the big things just that was born out of that allocation study as far as our personnel is, and this is becoming very true in the national general office, it's really hard for departments to retain personnel, even when all other things are going well. So even when pay is great, even when you're in a great municipality that supports you, even when you have a great community that supports you, it's still really challenging right now in this current national climate to find, recruit, and retain good police officers. So we really need to get every bit of bang for the buck for what we have. And that challenge has made it so that we're always going to be a little in flux, right? There's always going to be some police officers moving around. And in order to stay at a level of staffing at all times that we can actually handle those investigations, but also still, fully staff our road personnel, which is the backbone of the agency. That's everything we do is respond to 911 calls. It's our primary role for being out there. And that is becoming hard because it's taken away from the specialized things that we also need. And it's putting too much strain on our personnel. I'm sure Dan can know. Too much strain on our personnel to not be able to, put too many man hours on the road themselves. And they really need help. And so bringing our overall staffing up, even if we don't live at that highest number the whole time, allows us to live at a more manageable number on a day-to-day basis. So some of it's, I don't want to say it's built-in cushion, but in some ways it almost is. In the ideal world, we're at that 40 forever. But in reality, that's rarely been the case in the last even 10 years or so of the agency. It's been hard to even find ourselves at that authorized number.
We're at 38 right now. We're at 36. 36. And so with that 36 is, we have people in various stages of their training, various areas, like we talked about before, our personnel, unlike technology, are not plug and play. So a person at 5 years, a police officer at 2 years, very different from 5, 10, 15, 33. Very different. So the manner in which that we do business, the speeds in which we do them. Never mind.
So,
It's a bell curve for me. But which we do it. So, and I think also we talk about our wellness, are great for our officers that are working, the ones that are on the road, the folks that are doing the business, in ensuring that they have the support necessary. And I think you just touched a little bit on that. It's important. So we're asking to go to 40. And when we go to 40, you know, I've been around these parts a long time. We're never at where we need to be. So even if we are able to be at 40, getting to 40 is a whole nother priority and a whole nother work project.
so in the search consists of going to a civil service list as well as looking at other possibilities, other departments who someone may be interested.
Yes, it's always under the umbrella of civil service,
Right.
either from a resignation reinstatement
Right.
position or position of a new hire. And then even the new hires are difficult. We have a great candidate that we have them, we're about to give them their letter of start date. And the only academy in the area just canceled,
Yeah.
right? So now we're looking at alternatives.
That's
And the
what I was-
alternative is, a couple counties away and in the winter. So, and we're saying, well, we need this person by summertime next year. And we know that even with everything going right, we're not going to see them as an independent police officer until October, November next year.
Yeah.
So even when we hire now, that's what we see going forward. So we're always hiring for the next year. And really that next year, even when they're on their own, they consume more resources than they provide because they're at that level of which that they need constant supervision, constant training. So there's still a lot of training and resources that go into that.
Do you mind sharing a little bit about the CSO position that you proposed as well?
We proposed a part-time community service officer position, part-time, 20 hours a week, and they would assist with all avenues of agency business in which a civilian could provide, to include community relations, assisting with our CSU unit that would take some of the burden off of our sworn members. So our sworn members can do more things that require them to be sworn. And the civilian can take some more of those, responsibilities off their shoulders. Make us a little bit more efficient, a little bit more effective. But not yet at this stage, looking at it from a part-time standpoint to see how this works. And we have to find the right person too. So that's always a challenge there. We have had a history of CSOs in our organization that dates back a long time. I mean, your village clerk treasurer, was phenomenal CSO to the agency and did so much for the benefit of the community while she was there. So those are the things we would like to see again.
I just have two kudos to share with you. One, thank you to the cadets who helped out with Wicked Woods the other night. They were awesome. It was a little rainy and they did a fantastic job and we really appreciate it. Also, I wanted to also appreciate all the work that goes into posting the public notices on social media. And that also is a way for us to see that your closure rate continues to, it looks like it continues to get better and better and better. You're feeding back to the people results. And that's, I think, really important for the connective tissue, all of us who are residents and you all. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. One of the areas in which that I have on my list here after budget was just that we are seeing a steady uptick in solving crime. Is it where I feel we need to be? No, I think we can always strive to be better. We strive for excellence in all that we do. But we're seeing improvement, and we're seeing improvement with a very young police department. So as they mature and as that they gain experience, I hope to continue to see that. We're lucky. I've got formal and informal leaders sitting in front of you that are the backbone of our organization. It's not me. You can replace me at any time. These are the folks that make this machine work. And they're getting results. We are getting results together. Well,
Can I add one thing?
or yours.
May I trouble you both to come up to the podium, only so we can capture you on the microphone? Tom, is that okay, Tom? I was worried about you being able to hear. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Disagree with you, but on what you just said. You are instrumental in the changes that I've seen in the last year. Your leadership, your influence has been far and above anything I've experienced before the department. You are an instrumental in the department. I just want to share that because you've done an absolute phenomenal job.
You're not getting a day off to pay you.
I got a GPA.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership of the union, Dan, by the way.
Very good.
That's nice. Did you have anything else? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sure, if it's okay. So we've had those 4 new officers that were in field training, 3 of which have completed their final evaluation and 1 is still in. Yeah, 3. Yeah, I'm sorry, how long?
Like 3 shifts left.
3 shifts
This
left.
weekend, I think, hopefully we'll be finishing.
Right, so 3 have successfully completed it. Our last one is just finishing up evaluation, which is the final stage, which is the point in which that they operate independently. There's a field training officer in the car, but they're in plain clothes, and they have the limited, they really don't do anything except sit there and listen and watch. The only time they get involved is when it's a safety issue. So we're very happy about that. We have our annual trunk or treat event going on Saturday from 3 to 5. So we've got a whole setup going on, and our community, our CSU people and additional are really excited about it for the kids. So we hope that folks come down and see us. We attended a career fair at OCC's SRC Arena on October 12th to talk to interested candidates. Again, can't say this enough. Recruiting, so important to what we do. And in the manner in which we do it, how we connect with the community, how we show and reveal who we are, and how wonderful this community is. Reflecting on the areas that we're in, Fayetteville, Manoa, Manlius, the town, the people that live here. This is a wonderful community to police. Can it be complex? Absolutely. Can it get busy? Absolutely. Can it be very challenging? You bet. But when you're supported, like we're supported, this is the place you want to come to when you want to be a police officer. I truly believe it. I believed it for the 33 years that I've been in law enforcement in this community. From the day I started to now, it hasn't changed. We recently conducted, we have a cadet post that we were talking about. We recently conducted a cadet post meeting at the FM high school as a club to speak to interested members. And we had 38 students asked to participate. So we'll be opening up, you know, the opportunity for them to come to the police department and have a discussion about joining the cadet post, which they also, by the way, we hosted a Stations Day event, which is an event that other police departments from around the state that have cadet posts come to. We had this at St. Mary's School in Manoa. And we put on scenarios, so police officers, they do scenarios, they evaluate, and are posted very, very well during that. And they had a great day, and it was a big success. Thank you to the PBA also for supporting that. So much of these events have to deal with a litany of additional things in our union. Thank you, have just been phenomenal at supporting our kids in our community. We have family night coming up November 12th, I believe. And I'm not sure if we covered this before, but what I want to do, what we're going to do is we've invited our members' families to come. And those that are 14 and over can stay for the discussion. And it is a discussion about who we are as an organization, what we do, what to expect, the hardships, the difficulties. Under 14, we've blocked off the gym, and we're gonna have our cadets playing games and doing all sorts with them. Again, the union supplying food for dinner, so thank you. And once the families are done, those 14 and over, we're gonna allow them to ride for a 4-hour block with their loved ones at some point down the road. We want our families to understand the nuances and in the wonderful highs, but some of the difficult challenges that we deal with, so that our people are better supported and our families are better supported from a sense of community within the police department. So we'll be doing that. In fact, Mrs. Casalia is going to be coming to be able to answer all the questions of what she hopes that, could be a healthy lifestyle that her husband didn't practice in the last 33 years. So she will be there. That's all I have.
Could I? The chief is already, you helped the chief with a budget for the upcoming year.
The town board, has received a tentative budget, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so the new agreement that I don't think has been ratified by you yet, that all the dates on that are passed.
For budget review?
For
Yeah.
this committee.
Yeah, the existing agreement to the 1984 agreement also said August, which is always too
No,
early for the
yeah.
process. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't recall. Those dates are already passed. So it's currently with you.
Yep, it's currently in the process. The town has passed a tentative budget. And all the budget workshops were also we rebroadcast them as well. And each department has presented
Right.
in public.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to forward the
No, I just
documents.
wanted to make sure that.
Yep, we're in good shape. Yeah.
That, okay, but if this new agreement is passed, it will be a different.
I've noticed that the dates in here were August and September as well,
Yes.
so I think that's one of the things that we'll have to review based on our timelines for our process too, because certainly to deliver to the police committee something by September takes some focus and diligence, because so much has to be figured out ahead of time. But yeah, that's the August for preliminary and then September 10th for final.
So that'll happen next
Yeah, that's, if that agreement is signed, absolutely.
year. Okay. So in the new budget, the chief asked for 2 new members and so far that's still there.
Yes. Yes, 2 new members, the CSO position, the requested vehicles, and also I'm really pleased to tell you that a special effort to highlight traffic enforcement and to meet the strategic needs that the department has. We put a package together and a proposal to Assemblymember Sturkey, and he is supportive of that entire package, which is up to, I believe, $175,000 of reimbursable grant funds from the state. So that's, some great to hear about for our internal planning. We look forward to celebrating all of that.
That's big.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And we're also in the middle of negotiating the PD agreement for the next 3 years. So that's also happening. And so of course that has implications for the budget too, but we're trying to make sure it's like everything's converging at the same time.
Do you hire grant writers to the town board, hire grant writers?
We
Or
had
do you-
before.
Or do you do them yourself?
We hadn't before, but now we are working with, we have channels and it's pretty straightforward for our elected officials, but any agencies that require more detailed, quite extensive documentation, we're working with Labella Associates. Well, we're very lucky to have Sarah Bollinger and who is deeply experienced in this realm, and also as deputy supervisor who's written a number of grants, including our current one to, I think it was was it for Agua? And then also, or the ODW, the Water Protection Program grant. And then also, we've been lucky to have support from the Regional Planning Board, the Onondaga County Regional Planning Board as well, for grant support. And I've written a couple, but, and I have that experience too, but we need to be, it can't be ad hoc, right? It's so important. I think Fayetteville's done a great job of always applying for grants consistently using your engineering partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teamwork, I think.
Great. Anything else before we move on?
Oh, so what do we want?
That's it. We'll go to correspondence in case we've
Oh.
received anything.
I have two things.
Yeah.
First, to the chief, all your staff, in the morning of October 14th, the Royal Fire Department responded to a car accident. The patient was unconscious. I don't know the names of the officers, so I'm sorry that I can't say the names, but
Okay.
the patient was unresponsive, and as the fire department EMTs began excavating, he became responsive and became very combative. Ended up actually breaking one of our EMTs' glasses. I just want to thank your officers for getting our men and women out of a very dangerous situation of what was happening that morning. So if you can pass it along, thank them for the hard work they did and got him under control.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Bob, because yeah, I know I got an email from the fire chief, wanted to reach out, and we were all concerned to make sure your EMT was okay.
Yep, she's just a little shaken up.
Yeah, because that'll definitely do it.
She was more upset that she actually lost her other pair of glasses a few weeks before.
Yeah, so,
She's doing good now.
and I know that was Sergeant Ben Lesperance that jumped in and got in there and took care of that right away, and we've thanked him, and we appreciate you letting us know. It's nice to get the good news,
Yes.
you know, even though it had to come from one of your members getting, victimized.
Yeah.
We appreciate knowing the good news.
And then really quick, this morning, former police officer Mark Boswick passed away. We could just take a moment of silence.
Thank you for that, Bobby. Let's do that. Do you want to please provide a little bit of background before we do on Mark's important legacy with the TMPD?
Yeah, I go back with Mark Busser to the time in which he was one of my field training officers, but he did so much more for so many of us. He truly was that larger than life character. And the only thing that overshadowed his humanitarian sense is that he never wanted anybody to see it. He did it in a way that was silent and it was righteous. And he was just such that good person. And when I tell you that the entire organization is struggling right now, it is. He came to us from the village of Manlius when we consolidated. Before that, he, I believe, started in the village of Chitango and then the village of Canastota, and then came to Manlius, and then was here when we came together. I first met him when I was an explorer a year later in 1986, and he couldn't have been more supportive of just everybody around. Happy, jovial, jokes. He was just a great professional, but he was a great human being. When he became the PB8 president, I was his vice president for probably about 5 or 6 years, and we worked very closely together over a couple different contracts and a whole number of things. He was a classic, and you don't see that anymore.
Thank you, Bobby, for saying that. Let's take a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I don't think we have any correspondence. And with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
When, the next meeting?
Lovely.
It is December soon, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, it is, okay.
and so it'll
Alright.
still,
Alright.
I will send an email to everybody,
I didn't know if there were going to be changes. Maybe.
We think it's the 20th, maybe?
yeah, we'll still stick to the normal schedule that doesn't follow the holiday.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know if there the changing with your board meetings, I didn't know if there's going to be a change with that. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I have it on December 20th.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Tom, do you want to make the motion? So you're making the motion to adjourn the meeting, okay?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? Stating, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our special guests.